Let's dive into the origins of Fair Archeron, the protagonist of A Court of Thorns and Roses. Dr. Rathod, can you tell us about her life before the world of Prythian?
Certainly, Feyre starts as a 19-year-old huntress in a bleak, snowy forest tasked with providing for her impoverished family. Her responsibility stems from a past of lost wealth, emphasizing a theme of survival. The wolf is indeed significant as it's revealed to be a fairy. This act of survival against a mystical creature sets the stage for her transition from a mundane life to the magical realm of the Fae.
Some might argue she was reckless, but isn't bravery a key aspect of her character?
Absolutely, her bravery is a double-edged sword leading to both peril and opportunity. It foreshadows her resilience, which becomes crucial when she faces the trials in Prythian. In Prythian, Feyre's initial mistrust gradually turns into affection as Tamlin nurtures her artistic talents. Their romance is a tapestry woven with trust and discovery, transcending human fairy prejudices.
Yet, some critics say their relationship is too dependent on external circumstances. How do you respond to that?
There's merit to that critique. Their bond, while passionate, is deeply affected by the curse and external threats. It highlights love's complexity in a fantastical setting where stakes are life-altering.
Looking forward, does this set a precedent for future relationships in the series?
Indeed, it does. Their dynamic opens doors for more nuanced relationships, especially as we see Feyre's growth and interactions with other characters like Rysand.
Let's shift focus to the antagonist, Amarantha. Dr. Rathod, how does her curse drive the plot?
Amarantha's curse is the catalyst for much of the conflict in the series. It forces Tamlin and his court into a state of oppression, and Feyre's trials under her rule test her limits and ingenuity.
However, some might say these trials are too fantastical. Can they still resonate with real-world challenges?
Absolutely. The trials symbolize overcoming insurmountable odds, a universal theme. They parallel real-world struggles, encouraging readers to face their own monsters with courage and wit.
Finally, let's discuss the climax, Feyre's death and rebirth. How does love serve as a redemptive force in this context?
Love is the linchpin of Feyre's journey, solving Amarantha's riddle with love as the answer is both literal and symbolic, underscoring love's transformative power that transcends mortal bounds.
Looking ahead, how does her transformation into High Fae set the stage for future narratives in the series?
Her rebirth as High Fae symbolizes a new beginning, not just for her but for the series. It promises deeper explorations of identity, power, and love's complexities in subsequent
dive into
books.
The captivating world of Sarah J. Maas's Throne of Glass series. Dr. Rathod, could you give our listeners an overview of the series and its central character, Selena Sardathian?
Absolutely. The series spanning 8 books follows Selena Sardathian, a young assassin with a mysterious past. From the brutal slave camp of Endovir to the courts of Adarlan, her journey is one of self-discovery and rebellion against tyranny. It's a rich tapestry of intrigue and magic, intertwined with her quest for freedom.
Fascinating. Selena's journey is more than just a fight for freedom, isn't it? It's also about uncovering her true identity. How does her transformation reflect broader themes in the series?
Exactly, her evolution from assassin to queen mirrors themes of identity and growth. In the real world, it's akin to individuals embracing their roots and responsibilities. Selena, or rather Aelin Ashriver Galathinius, ultimately embodies the struggle of reconciling past identities with future aspirations.
That's powerful. But what about the challenges she faces? Oppressive systems seem to be a recurring theme. Could you elaborate on that?
Certainly, the series intricately explores freedom versus tyranny. In a world where oppressive regimes like Adarlan's thrive, Selena's rebellion reflects the universal fight against authoritarianism, much like historical revolutions. Yet, the narrative also critiques the complexities of power and governance, ensuring a nuanced portrayal.
Let's shift gears to the magical elements within Throne of Glass. Dr. Rathod, could you explain the significance of weird marks and their role in the series?
Of course, weird marks are ancient magical symbols pivotal to the plot. They serve as both a tool and a mystery, linking to the mysterious killings in the first book. It's similar to coding languages in our world, holding immense power for those who can decipher them. This magic intertwines with Selina's journey, influencing key events.
However, magic doesn't come without its dangers, right? Given that the king seeks control through weird keys, how do characters like Selina navigate these threats?
Indeed, magic is a double-edged sword. While weird keys grant near-limitless power, they pose significant risks. Selina's discovery of the king's dark manipulation through these artifacts is a turning point. It's akin to modern-day concerns about technological misuse. Her strategic alliances and intelligence become her greatest assets in countering these threats.
With such powerful artifacts, is there a counterargument about the dependency on magic? Could it overshadow character development?
That's a valid concern. Yet Moss balances magic with personal growth, ensuring characters are defined by their choices, not just their powers. Selina's evolution, for instance, is deeply personal and not solely reliant on magic. Forward-looking, this suggests a narrative where character agency remains paramount, even in fantastical settings.
Now, let's explore the intricate web of relationships in Throne of Glass. Dr. Rathod, how do friendships and loyalties shape the narrative?
The bonds between characters like Aelin, Rowan, Kael, and Dorian are the series' emotional core. Their loyalty drives much of the narrative, offering support in dire times. It's reminiscent of epic sagas where camaraderie is pivotal. These relationships provide stability amidst chaos and often result in strategic alliances crucial for survival.
While friendships are a strength, what about the tensions and betrayals? How do these elements add depth to the story?
Betrayals, such as Nehemiah's tragic end, add complexity. They challenge characters and force them to confront their ideals and fears. It's a reminder that even in fantasy, human emotions and conflicts remain relatable. This interplay of trust and betrayal enriches the narrative, offering a mirror to real-life dynamics.
Considering these dynamics, do you foresee future narratives in similar genres, focusing more on interpersonal relationships?
Absolutely. As readers seek richer character development, future fantasy works will likely delve deeper into personal connections. These relationships, akin to real-world networks, offer resilience and depth, ensuring stories remain grounded despite fantastical elements.
Finally, let's discuss the impact of the Throne of Glass series. Dr. Rathod, what legacy do you believe Sarah J. Maas has left in the fantasy genre?
Moss's work has redefined modern fantasy, particularly in young adult literature. The blending of intricate world-building, strong female protagonists, and complex narratives sets a new standard. Comparable to Tolkien's impact decades ago, Moss has inspired a new generation of writers and readers, expanding the genre's reach and diversity. While packing can be subjective, the series' depth is a strength. Its complexity invites readers to immerse themselves fully, much like engaging with a detailed puzzle. These elements have fostered a dedicated fanbase, proving that readers appreciate detailed narratives. Looking ahead, such engagement might encourage more thoughtful storytelling in fantasy. The series' legacy will likely continue through its emphasis on diversity and robust character arcs. Future works may draw from its themes of empowerment and identity, ensuring fantasy remains a vibrant and evolving genre. It's an exciting time for both creators and consumers as the boundaries of storytelling expand.
Dr. Rathod, could you explain how Moss's unique blend of romance and fantasy has impacted the literary landscape?
Certainly, Moss has crafted worlds where romance and fantasy intricately intertwine, offering readers magical kingdoms alongside complex romantic arcs. Her work has brought the Romantasy genre into the mainstream, with over 40 million copies sold globally. This success reflects a growing appetite for immersive narratives that prioritize female empowerment.
It's fascinating how her characters, especially women, are portrayed with depth and agency. Do you think this is a key reason for her widespread appeal?
Absolutely, her protagonists like Selina Sardathian from Throne of Glass are resilient and morally complex, appealing to readers who seek characters with agency. This echoes the broader shift in literature towards female empowerment, a theme Moss skillfully weaves into her stories.
Yet, some argue that the Romantasy genre can sometimes blur lines with its mature themes. How does Moss navigate this? Moss's A Court of Thorns and Roses series, particularly A Court of Mist and Fury, exemplifies her ability to tackle mature themes like trauma and healing. This series has solidified her reputation, appealing to adult readers who appreciate nuanced storytelling.
Indeed, her shift from YA to adult themes seems intentional. How has this evolution influenced her readership and the genre at large?
Her transition reflects a broader trend towards mature content in fantasy, attracting new adult readers while retaining her YA audience. For instance, Crescent City explores adult themes within an urban fantasy setting, showing her versatility.
That's an interesting point. However, could this shift alienate her younger fans or those preferring traditional fantasy elements?
While there's always a risk, Moss balances traditional fantasy with contemporary issues, ensuring her stories remain accessible. Her ability to evolve with her audience has been crucial to maintaining her relevance. Let's discuss another dimension of Moss's success: social media. How has book talk influenced her reach and the romantasy genre?
Book Talk has been pivotal. Moss's works have become viral sensations, especially among younger readers. This platform has amplified her books, turning them into cultural phenomena and boosting the romantasy genre's presence.
Social media can be a double-edged sword. Has it also exposed her to any criticisms or challenges that she might not have faced otherwise?
Certainly, while social media expands her reach, it also subjects her work to intense scrutiny and debate. Yet, it offers immediate feedback, enabling Moss to engage with her audience directly, which can be beneficial for addressing criticisms.
Do you foresee social media continuing to play a role in the future of publishing, particularly for genres like romantasy?
Speaking of emerging authors, how has Moss's legacy influenced new writers within the genre?
Moss has set a high standard for character-driven narratives with strong female leads. Her success has paved the way for new voices, encouraging diverse storytelling and innovative genre blending.
Thank you, Dr. Rathod, for providing such insightful perspectives on Sarah J. Maas and the romantasy genre's
Has an
evolution.
interesting origin as a blend of romance and fantasy. It first appeared on Urban Dictionary in 2008, but didn't gain traction until the early 2020s. Can you tell us more about its evolution?
Absolutely. While romantasy was initially a niche term, its rise was catalyzed by authors like Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, whose works combined romantic elements with fantasy settings. Interestingly, Bloomsbury Publishers claim to have coined it in 2022 to describe Maas's works.
That claim, however, is disputed, isn't it? There's evidence of its earlier usage, particularly on social media platforms. How did this affect its acceptance?
Indeed, the term's earlier roots in niche literary circles are well documented. However, Bloomsbury's marketing efforts significantly boosted its visibility. The debate over its origin didn't diminish its impact as the term became widely adopted, especially on Book Talk.
With romantasy, now a defining genre, how do you foresee its future in the literary world?
Given its current momentum and the dedication of its fanbase, romantasy is likely to continue evolving, possibly incorporating even more diverse mythological and cultural elements, responding to a global audience's appetite for varied narratives.
Sarah J. Maas is often credited with popularizing romantasy, selling over 37 million copies worldwide. What makes her work stand out?
Maas's series like A Court of Thorns and Roses masterfully blend intricate world-building with romance-centric plots. Her ability to weave complex characters and political intrigue captivates readers, setting a high bar for the genre.
But Maas isn't alone. Authors like Jennifer L. Armentrout and Scarlett St. Clair are also noteworthy. What unique elements do they bring?
Armentrout from Blood and Ash series is renowned for its high-stakes romance and morally complex characters. Meanwhile, St. Clair's modern retellings like the Hades x Persephone saga offer fresh perspectives with a focus on inclusivity and agency.
With such diversity in storytelling, do you think the genre risks becoming oversaturated?
While there's a risk, the genre's adaptability and the author's creativity in exploring new themes like urban settings or mythological retellings suggest it will remain vibrant, with room for innovation and growth.
Bloomsbury publishers played a pivotal role in Romantasy's rise, especially with Sarah J. Maas's works. How did their strategy impact the genre?
Bloomsbury's branding and marketing positioned Romantasy as a distinct genre, amplifying its reach. By promoting Maas as a pioneer, they capitalized on the fantasy romance hybrid trend, influencing other publishers to follow suit with dedicated imprints.
However, some argue that such commercial strategies can narrow creative freedom. Has this been a concern within the industry?
That's a valid concern. While commercial interests sometimes dictate trends, many authors have embraced the genre's framework to explore diverse narratives. The industry's response, such as HarperCollins' Midnight Collection, shows a commitment to both innovation and tradition.
Looking forward, how might publishers continue to shape Romantasy?
Publishers will likely invest in emerging authors and diverse stories, using digital platforms to reach broader audiences and maintain the genre's dynamism. The focus will be on balancing market demands with creative exploration.
As we look to the future, what trends do you anticipate will redefine Romantasy?
I expect a surge in narratives that integrate cross-cultural mythologies and non-Western fantasy elements. This shift mirrors the global readership's desire for diverse storytelling, providing fresh material for fans and writers alike.
Given the genre's current trajectory, how might Romantasy influence other genres?
Romantasy's success could inspire genres like science fiction or horror to incorporate more intricate romantic plots, broadening their appeal. This cross-genre influence might also encourage hybrid genres that defy traditional boundaries.
And what role will technology play in this evolution?
Technology, through platforms like BookTok, will continue to democratize publishing, allowing emerging authors to reach wider audiences. Innovations in digital storytelling could also lead to interactive Romantasy experiences, further
Let's dive into
enhancing reader
Romantasy,
engagement.
a unique blend of romance and fantasy. Dr. Rathod, can you explain how Romantasy differentiates itself from traditional fantasy genres?
Certainly, Romantasy places romance at the heart of the story rather than just a subplot. For instance, in a Romantasy, a love story might drive the entire narrative, something you wouldn't find in classic fantasy.
That's intriguing. How do the imaginative worlds in Romantasy enhance these romantic elements?
The fantasy worlds often feature magical creatures and epic quests which add depth and stakes to the romance. Imagine a couple navigating a world with dragons or fae, their relationship becoming a key to solving broader conflicts.
However, some might argue that mixing genres dilutes the essence of each. What do you say to that?
While that's a valid concern, I believe it enriches both genres by offering diverse storytelling. Readers get the best of both worlds, the emotional depth of romance and the imaginative scope of fantasy.
Romantasy seems to thrive on certain popular tropes. Could you highlight some that are central to the genre?
Of course, enemies to lovers is a staple where initial adversaries develop a profound connection. It adds layers of tension and growth to the plot.
And what about fated mates? It sounds like a magical twist on soulmates.
Exactly, it's a trope where a supernatural bond ties the characters, often leading to deep, sometimes tumultuous relationships. This intertwines personal destiny with romantic arcs. True, but skilled authors inject freshness into these tropes, exploring moral complexities or setting them against unique world-building backdrops, which keeps readers engaged and intrigued.
Let's explore the origins of Romantasy. Dr. Rathod, how did this genre emerge and evolve over time? The term itself seems relatively new, though. How did it gain recognition?
It was first coined in 2008 on Urban Dictionary but gained traction post-2022, largely due to publishers emphasizing this blend. Sarah J. Maas's series significantly popularized it, marking a shift in genre marketing.
Skeptics might say it's just a marketing ploy. How do you respond to that?
While marketing played a role, the genre's distinct elements cater to evolving reader interests, providing both escapism and emotional depth, hence its genuine appeal and growth. Romantasy appeals due to its rich world-building and emotional arcs, offering escapism alongside empowerment themes. It's particularly engaging for readers seeking both fantasy's adventures and romance's intimacy. Platforms like BookTok and Bookstagram have been pivotal. They foster communities where readers recommend and dissect novels, amplifying trends and spotlighting new authors.
Some might worry that digital platforms could oversaturate the market. What's your take on this?
While there's a risk, these platforms democratize access to literature, allowing diverse voices to emerge. They act as a double-edged sword, but overall, they enrich literary
Welcome
diversity
to our
and reader
podcast on
engagement.
emerging literary genres. Today, we're exploring Romantasy, a fascinating blend of romance and fantasy. Dr. Rathod, can you tell us how this term came about?
Certainly, Romantasy is a portmanteau of romance and fantasy, first appearing on Urban Dictionary in 2008. However, it wasn't until the early 2020s, thanks to authors like Sarah J. Maas, that it gained traction. For example, her series A Court of Thorns and Roses epitomizes this genre with its intricate world-building and romance-driven plots.
It's intriguing how a term can evolve over time. Yet, some argue that Romantasy existed long before it was officially named. Could earlier works have fit this genre without the label?
Absolutely, many classic fantasy novels integrated romantic elements. However, they weren't explicitly marketed as Romantasy. The term itself helps readers easily identify books with a strong romantic and fantastical blend, much like how steampunk defines its unique combination.
Given this blend of genres, do you think Romantasy will continue to expand in the literary world?
I foresee a bright future for Romantasy as it appeals to diverse audiences seeking both emotional depth and escapism. Authors are already experimenting with new themes, and with the ongoing support from platforms like BookTok, its popularity is bound to grow.
Let's delve into the role Bloomsbury played in Romantasy's rise. Dr. Rathod, how did this publisher influence the genre?
Bloomsbury significantly boosted the genre's visibility by marketing Sarah J. Maas's works under this label. Their strategic branding positioned her books as quintessential Romantasy, and the viral success on platforms like BookTok only amplified this effect. For instance, Maas's Crescent City series became a bestseller largely due to this targeted promotion.
Interesting. However, Bloomsbury's claim to have coined the term has faced some skepticism. Can you elaborate on this controversy?
Indeed, while Bloomsbury popularized the term, evidence suggests it existed earlier in niche circles. Social media conversations and literary forums had already been using it. This highlights a broader debate on who truly owns a genre label, a publisher, or the community that fosters it.
With this in mind, how might Bloomsbury's approach influence other publishers?
Other publishers are likely to create dedicated Romantasy imprints like HarperCollins' Midnight Collection to tap into this lucrative market. As more publishers recognize the genre's potential, we can expect an increase in both variety and volume of Romantasy publications.
Turning to reader communities, how has Romantasy reshaped the way people engage with books?
Romantasy has fostered vibrant online communities, particularly on BookTok, where readers share recommendations and fan theories. This engagement is reminiscent of earlier fantasy fandoms but with a stronger emphasis on romance. For example, Maas's fans often discuss character arcs and relational dynamics in great detail.
Yet, some critics argue that the focus on romance overshadows fantasy elements. Is there a risk of alienating traditional fantasy readers?
That's a valid concern. However, the best Romantasy novels balance both elements effectively. While some traditionalists might shy away, many appreciate the richer emotional narratives Romantasy offers. It's about broadening the appeal rather than replacing existing genres.
Looking ahead, how might Romantasy communities evolve?
I anticipate these communities will become more inclusive, embracing diverse voices and stories. As the genre matures, it will likely reflect broader societal changes, offering space for varied narratives that resonate with a wide array of readers.
Finally, let's discuss the future of Romantasy in the publishing industry. Dr. Rathod, what trends do you foresee?
I predict that Romantasy will continue to thrive, with publishers investing more in this hybrid genre. We'll likely see more cross-genre experiments such as integrating science fiction or historical elements. For instance, authors might explore romantic storylines within futuristic or alternative history settings. I'd encourage them to be bold and explore uncharted territories within the genre. There's a growing audience eager for new stories, and those who push boundaries could define the next wave of romantasy literature. The key is to balance creativity with a deep understanding of both romance and fantasy elements.